Good morning, darling. We're going to Africa today. Mozambique, East Africa. I didn't learn to shoot for nothing, babe. Wouldn't do it today, but hey, I did it then. Good morning. Enjoy. I've got stories to tell. Okay. I left off with doing target shooting. I think they got me. Doing target shooting in a field in Marin with Al Wilsey and his son Lad. And, I couldn't load a gun, but I could sure aim it. And I hate guns. I won't even allow a gun around me. But Al had guns, and that was his thing. And, I was just getting to know him after we got married in Liza Jane and Nappy McNaughton's house on Broadway in San Francisco. And it was just him and me, and Peggy came, his secretary, of course. And his children were there, except for Mike, who was in Singapore. And, it was a very low-key ceremony. And then we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon. And then in the fall, we went to Mozambique, East Africa. Al had said that he had planned the trip with his sons for a long, long time. And he didn't know what he was going to do with me and expected to get married, to fall in love and get married. And I said, we're going to take me with you. And that's how all this developed. So we get to Mozambique, East Africa, and Lad was just fabulous, and Mike joined us there too. And what a time we had. We would go out early in the morning in a Land Rover with they used to call them white hunters, the professional hunter. We had to have a license. We'd bought licenses in Beira, and you could only shoot certain kinds of animals, and you had to pay a big amount of money to do it at all. And we were staying out in the bush in a rondavel, it was called. Ooh, I learned so many big words, or new words to me. And every morning we would go out. And the professional hunter would use a long stick. We would be back in this open vehicle. And he would put the stick over the windshield and point so the driver would know which direction to go, because we weren't on roads, we would just be in the bush. And the first time I saw a zebra, I nearly fell out of the Land Rover. It was so astonishing and so beautiful. And the light in Africa, or that part of Africa, was so different than what we were accustomed to. And I learned that by my lipstick. The lipstick color was totally different. And yeah, I wore lipstick in the bush there than it was in San Francisco. So, we went on, and all the animals that we did shoot, I hate to even say that, but darling, we did. I can't change history, and I'm not going to try. So, but all of the meat went to feed the people in the villages, who were very, very poor. And I said to Al one day, I watched all these African women walking up the road with their babies in a sling on their back, barefoot, of course, going to work in the fields, while the men stayed home and drank. God, what was that drink? I've forgotten. But anyway, they would stay home and drink that stuff. And I was a newly formed feminist, so I said, Al, I'm going to get these women together, and I'm going to have a meeting with them, and I'm going to tell them there's a different way that their husband should go to work. And he said, Patsy Lou, I don't think that's a very good idea. So anyway, I didn't do it. But among the exciting things that happened was we were told, we were on a private safari, and we were told that a prince from Swaziland would like permission to join our safari. So I said, hey, hooray, we'll have some interesting things going on around here other than what we're doing. And a prince. So we said, okay. And Of course, I'm the anti-mame of the world, I think, because I had had my whole safari outfit made in Beira, where they could whip up whatever you wanted, like in a day. And of course, my safari outfit was white. So the animals could see me, darling. And so I put on my freshly starched white outfit, the pants and the jacket and the whole thing. And I went to the runway. It wasn't a runway, it was just the open field, to welcome the prince when he flew in this little airplane. And so I had an umbrella, a pretty colored umbrella, I mean really out of Africa. And I played it to the hills. And everybody was there to greet the prince. Lad and Al and you know, anyone around, they were really thrilled. And so the airplane stopped, and a man got off who must have been the guard, and he was wearing a uniform that looked like a Civil War uniform, and he had one shoe, and the other shoe was bare. And then here came the prince. Darling, he was something else. He had an afro, a big afro, and he had kura feathers stuck in it. That's a bird that I learned about. And he had like a crown of these kura feathers, and he was wearing this cloth of animal skins with the tails hanging down, you know, the whole thing. It was amazing, and he was wearing sandals. So, you know, we greeted him, and I thought, well, I don't know what language he speaks. Where we were, they spoke Portuguese. It was Portuguese East Africa. So anyway, we were asked if he could join us in the dining room, but they had him at a separate table. So, and there were camp dogs running around, you know, what to expect. And we were eating our meal and looking at the prince, and the prince was sitting on a chair with those tails from the animal skin hanging down. Well, I heard this, and the dogs were having a wonderful time with his garment. And I thought, that whole thing's just going to fall off of him. And I was like, ooh, I want to see what this is. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, darling. I just said that to be silly. You know now I get silly. But anyway, the prince was there to shoot a leopard to prove his manhood, and his father had sent him there. So I started talking to him, and he went to school at Oxford in England. He spoke perfect, the King's English. And so we had nice conversations. And he found out about, I had a pin that said Oki on it, a gold pin that had been given to me by Colonel Stafford, an astronaut, and he had taken it to the moon. And he gave, I'm sure he took quite a few, and he gave that one to me because he was from Oklahoma, I was from Oklahoma. So I had that with me. And it was early in the space program. Oh, I talk so much I get dry. I've got to have coffee. Give you a break too. Catch your breath, babe. The prince from Swaziland asked if he could wear my Oki pin as a good luck charm when he went hunting. And I said, of course he could. So he treks off with the trackers and all the fol-de-rol around hunting. And when he came back, it seemed he couldn't shoot anything. He didn't know how. But the trackers, excuse me, darling, got a leopard. How? I have no idea. Poor leopard. And put it under a tree. And then they said to him, the prince, you did get one you shot, and we didn't realize that you'd hit anything. So he got his leopard. Well, beyond that, a whole crew, a television crew from Beira, the town that was near, nothing was near, came to our camp because of the prince. And they videoed him, and a newspaper reporter from the paper came. Who did they interview? Moi. Of course they did. Because they were so excited about my Oki pin that had been to the moon. And this was so early on in the space program, it was really like magic. And they had heard about it. And I've got the clipping from the newspaper in Beira. I will post it. And the headline said, Papsi Lou Wilsey. I was using my husband's name for a while. And then whatever it was in Portuguese. It's a whole big thing and a picture of me with my pin. I love these things. Talk about the law of attraction. I believe. Oh, thank you so much for listening to my story. Put on your Easter bonnet. I have. You know, it's Easter weekend. So I've got to be dressed up, for you guys, because then I'll take it all off and put my nightcap back on and go to bed and take a nap. But that's what I do. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a fabulous Easter. Thank you for watching. Tune in again on Monday. There's more, lots more. Bear with me, babe. Bye.